Good morning students. We are starting the second lesson on bio, first class 7th, kingdom classification 1. Now what is classification? Classification is a process of grouping things based on their common characteristics. We do this in our everyday life. When you go to a library, we just search a book in which subject we want. We will go to this particular cupboard and search for the book. It's so easy. Same thing we do at home. When we have to cook something, all the masala powders are together, the tea and coffee is always together, salt and sugar is kept someplace. So we are doing everyday classification in our homes, school, all the books. We put books together and textbooks together. Nobody is keeping all mixed, haphazard. So classification helps us in many ways. Now here we are relating to classification of plants and animals, but classification is as easy there as we do it in our everyday life. When there is classification, it makes us do things easier, find it faster, and saves our time. So why there is need for classification? When there is classification done, it gives us a significance of that particular thing, and also it helps us to know the meaningful classification of the particular thing. Now there are a lot of advantages of classification. One is it helps to identify the given organism or plant to find out faster and saves time. Second, it helps us to name the particular organism. A particular organism, for example, a mouse, will have so many different names in all the different states of India, in the whole world. There will be so many names. So it is very difficult if we give an assignment on that particular organism. It is easy to find out when it has a particular name, and that is what we are learning here today. Now it also helps us to remember the features of that particular organism or plant. It helps us to study the relationship of that to others, etc. We are basing the classification on the common features. So this common feature characteristics is very important when we classify things. For example, if we take warm-blooded animals, all mammals and birds will come under that category. So they are having one common characteristics, that is warm-blooded. If we come to some other like fish and amphibians, they will be having a common characteristics, that is they are cold-blooded. So this is based on different features. It's not only one particular feature. Plants and animals in the whole world, in the different biological regions, can be similar. We can find out about them too. Lastly, but not the least, based on the other related sciences, classification can help us to study other subjects like biogeography, then ecology and environmental biology, etc. Now what is done in classification is there are 7 ranks. Like first is kingdom, then comes phylum, then comes class, then order, then family, genus and species. Kingdom is the first rank, where it will be all animals in the world will be under plant kingdom or animal kingdom. It won't be in between. Now second is phylum, based on the common characteristics. Some will be mammals, some will be birds, reptiles, even there are invertebrates. Later comes class, that is the class is actually mammals, birds, etc. Phylum will be invertebrates, vertebrates. Then order, depending on whether they have a cell wall or not, or whether they are carnivore, herbivore, depending on the mode of nutrition. Then lastly comes genus and species, where these are taken into account where the animal is named. So genus and species are the last, second last rank, and the last rank is species. So there are these 7 ranks help us in classifying a given object or animal or plant. Now grouping is mostly done on similarities and dissimilarities. So if we take a cat, you must have heard any time cat belongs to the tiger and cat belongs to one family. So they have some common characteristics. Here the common characteristics will keep on becoming more and more as you go down. So first is kingdom, plant, all will be plants. Some may not be able to manufacture food and some will be able to manufacture food. Now this classification, study of classification is known as taxonomy. And a Swedish botanist have given this naming of animals and plants. He is Carolus Linnaeus. He is the person who started with the classification of plants and animals and first with the microorganisms. Therefore is called the father of taxonomy. The nomenclature he gave was only 2 things. Every animal or plant will have 2 names. So because of that it is called binomial nomenclature or binomial classification, which has a scientific name, and it is divided into 2 parts. One is generic and one is specific. Now every animal or plant, if you want to study, it will have a scientific name and it will have generic name and specific name. So generic name is the species and the specific name is the species. Always this generic name will be written with the capital letter. So we will take an example of human beings. The name is Homo, so this is written in capital letter, Homo, and the specific name or the species name is Sapiens. Always the letter is small. So there are some other names for other animals like lion or tiger or even this onion, Allium cepa, or frog, Rana tigrina. So this way the first letter will be written here capital and the species name is small. If we tell you to find out some names of animals and plants, you will be able to find the binomial nomenclature. Now this binomial nomenclature was based on cell wall, presence of cell wall or not, mode of nutrition, then locomotion and response to stimulus. Now everything has advantages and disadvantages. So this binomial nomenclature also have some disadvantages. For example, some animals like with the cell wall and without, or non-photosynthetic and photosynthetic animals were put together. Then some of them closely related species were put far away, did not differentiate some unicellular and multicellular organisms, they were put together. So these are some drawbacks. So because of that it is inadequate. Till now classification is being updated all the time. So both this nomenclature, that is binomial nomenclature, two-way nomenclature is said to be inadequate today. But if you it helps in a lot of ways, but at the same time because of this there are some things are put together. For example, earlier Archaeopteryx was an animal which they were not able to put under reptiles or birds. So it had characteristics of reptiles also as well as birds. So now it is done, updated. So you have to find out whether it is a bird or reptile, you will find out. So earlier this helped in some ways, but in some things it didn't help. So it is said inadequate. And now what we have is a 5 way nomenclature that is based on some other properties. So we'll be learning it in the next class.